name's Chris Baker with Baker DMM, and this is our video digest newsletter. The topic of today's newsletter is going to be $36.5 billion equals the total financial abuse committed against elders. And before I jump into our discussion, I want to read you a statistic that states, it is estimated that older Americans lose $36.5 billion each year to financial scams and abuse. And I'm going to go into that article where I got that number. And if you search financial fraud and elder abuse, you can find this number in numerous places, most particularly the Department of Justice, federal government website. But I have a chart here that I was given in one of our summer classes this past summer at Emory University at their OLLI program. We had a guest speaker come in, and he had handed out a chart that actually lists the different types of abuse that can be committed against someone. And there's all sorts. There's isolation, there's psychological, there's physical, economic, financial, emotional, sexual. And these are all different types of ways of abuse and ways to exert power control over someone else. And today we're going to focus on financial fraud and elder abuse, or elder exploitation of their financial resources. And I have an article from, it's from NBC, their personal finance section, and the author of the article is Kelly Grant, and this was published back in August. And really, the article talks about that in 2015, financial fraud and elder abuse was documented at a $36.5 billion a year industry. And they say that the problem is growing. Particularly with the aging population, every day there are 10,000 people turning 65. So in the next 30 years, that population is going to double from 40 million to 80 million. And with that, some statistics state that 1 out of 4 people over the age of 80 will suffer from some sort of cognitive impairment. So this article goes on, it states that this generation is one of the wealthiest. And they also go on to state that, it's easier to exploit someone that's aging that has a cognitive or physical impairment. But it's interesting to note that they say that even people that are aging that don't have a cognitive or physical impairment can be taken advantage of. And they don't have a reason why. In this study or this article, the individuals and the academia and researchers that they talk to don't have an explanation for it. And they do make a note that, and I've seen this before in our presentations around the community, that people tend to think it's dumb people that get taken advantage of, or stupid people, or people that just aren't that bright. But that couldn't be further from the truth. It happens to all different people, all different colors, men, women, different income levels. It doesn't discriminate on anyone. So don't think it's, oh, well, I'm smart, or I'm never going to have to worry about this. It can happen to anybody, and that's something to remember for all of us. So then they've got some statistics on different types of people that take advantage of elders. And this is from the North American Securities Administrators Association. So they mentioned third-party abusers, that's 27%. And when they say that, I think they mean like different service providers helping people that are aging. Account distributions, which I guess would be the financial advisors, or the individuals that are helping manage that person's assets, and somewhere between distributing the retirement income to the individual, there's theft or manipulation. They mentioned family members, that's 23%, and so on down the list. And so, they go on to talk about different, here, as I mentioned earlier, many of the victims of financial fraud are not demented or disabled. It said, let's say right here we have, in a given year, 1 in 18 cognitively intact, I think that's what it says, intact older adults is a victim to financial scams. And that was by the American Journal of Public Health. And that was a study involving 42,000 people almost. So, and really, and I guess the main goal here is that we're addressing the issue. We're bringing to light there's an issue. And the solution to this issue, and it's actually mentioned here at the very end of the article, there's a gentleman, let's see if it's David Burns, assistant professor. And then they mentioned that there's another, I guess they interviewed, there's a financial advisor in here that mentioned one of the key things to preventing from being taken advantage of, whether or not you're a senior, you're getting close to being a senior, or you're someone that's physically and mentally healthy, maybe you're recently diagnosed with an issue. The key to preventing this type of abuse from occurring to you is to be financially monitoring your accounts. And if you're unable to do that, if you can't do it, if you don't want to do it, if you're not going to do it, you should be having someone do it for you. And typically up until now, that's going to be close family, close friends, people in the community. There are services like a Baker DMM now that can help do that for you through a professional financial services firm. In our case, we're owned by myself, which I'm a certified public accountant, financial professional, and you can find other companies like this and like ours in the community to help do this for you. And that's either you need to be doing it, you need to have someone you have a really close relationship that you just are pretty much know for a fact they're never going to take advantage of you, or you need to hire a professional financial services company like ours to help you pay the bills, to monitor your accounts. Because the key is, if we see it, if you have a budget that's $1,000 a month, and then we see one month that's $5,000 over, well, then we're going to know that something's wrong, and we can investigate it. And either it's okay for that to be over budget for the month because there's a valid reason and excuse, and there's a valid expense, or there's not, and we'll investigate it and we'll figure out and find out why that happened and where that money went. And in cases of fraud and elder abuse and exploitation, I can't say that you're always going to get the money back, because a lot of times when it's happening in different parts of the world, even within our country, it's very difficult to get the money back, particularly if the person committing crime spent the money. But by monitoring the accounts, you can effectively prevent it from going out of control, from wiping you out or your loved one out and becoming destitute. So the issue is financial fraud and elder abuse. The solution is financial monitoring and keeping an eye on these accounts. And if we see something unusual or that just doesn't look right, that's out of line, out of budget, stop it, investigate it, figure out what happened, why it happened, where the money went. And that way, you're going to, if it is fraud and elder abuse or exploitation, then you can stop it before it gets out of control. So if you found this video helpful or interesting, please feel free to share it on your social media channels. You can share it with your family or friends, or really whoever you think might benefit from viewing this video. If you have a question that you'd like for me to try to answer in one of our upcoming video digest newsletters, you can go to our website, www.bakerdmm.com, scroll to the bottom, fill out the newsletter submittal form, and we'll try to answer your question in one of our upcoming digest newsletters. And if you would like to get my help personally, the quickest and easiest way is to go to our website, you scroll to the top, and you can see our phone number and a request an appointment button. Or if you scroll to the bottom, there's a PayPal button where you can pay directly to book an immediate appointment. And with any of these options, we'll be in touch with you in 24 to 48 hours to set up our time. And until then, I will talk to y'all soon.